With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu. At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Ranked #1 in innovation for 10 consecutive years and #2 among public universities for employability. ASU isn't just ahead of the curve. It's creating new paths to success. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
All right, so you wanted the inside scoop on that 49ers-Cowboys game from back on October 27th. Well, get ready because we've got a whole stack of sources here ready to break it all down.
And this one's really interesting. Both teams went into Week 8 with a 3-4 record.
Oh, yeah. The stakes were high for sure.
Huge implications for both teams and their playoff hopes.
Plus, you can't talk 49ers-Cowboys without thinking about all that history, right? The playoff battles, the big moments, the whole rivalry thing.
It all adds up for sure. But this game started a little differently than I think a lot of people expected.
Yeah, I was expecting a total shootout, but that first half was pure defense.
It was. Like a chess match back and forth.
Yeah, both those defenses were locked in. The 49ers got the first points on the board, though, with a field goal from Anders Carlson.
Right, but then the Cowboys answered back. Zeke Elliott with the touchdown, and then Brandon Aubrey added another field goal.
So we went into halftime 10-3 Cowboys and really felt like either team could take over in the second half.
Wide open. At that point, anybody's game.
Yeah. But then the third quarter happened.
Oh, yeah. Things got interesting.
The 49ers just exploded on offense.
They flipped a switch for sure.
It started with rookie running back Isaac Grando punching it in for a touchdown to give the 49ers the lead.
And then Brock Purdy, he just took over.
Yeah, he was...
First, he finds George Kittle, who, by the way, hit 500 career receptions in this game for a 35-yard touchdown.
And then Purdy decides, hey, I can run too, and scrambles in for a 15-yard touchdown himself.
He had 21 unanswered points in a single quarter.
Yeah, the Cowboys were stunned.
It's amazing how quickly the momentum can shift in a game like this.
1 minute, it's a tight defensive battle. The next, it's an offensive explosion. But you got to give the Cowboys credit. They didn't give up.
Oh, no. They kept fighting even down big.
Dak Prescott connected with CeeDee Lamb for not 1, but 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
They started chipping away at that lead.
I was on the edge of my seat. I thought for sure they might pull off the comeback.
It was close, but the 49ers defense came up huge when they needed to.
Yeah, Jair Brown and Diamador Lenoir both came up with key interceptions to shut down those Cowboy drives.
Momentum killers for sure.
And then Anders Carlson comes in and nails another field goal to seal the deal, 30-24 49ers.
So it was a big win for the 49ers. But, even in the loss, the Cowboys showed they're still a dangerous team.
Absolutely. But before we get into what this all means for both teams, I think we should take a minute to highlight some of the standout players.
I think that's a great idea because those individual performances really tell the story of this game.
Let's start with Brock Purdy, 18 for 260, and a touchdown through the air, plus 56 rushing yards, and another touchdown on the ground.
Purdy was the engine behind that third quarter explosion for sure.
He showed he can make plays with both his arm and his legs. And then there's George Kittle. Not only did he hit that 500 reception milestone, he was a monster all game, 128 receiving yards and a touchdown.
You can't say enough about his impact on that 49ers passing game.
And then you got Isaac Guerrero. He gave the 49ers a real spark, 85 rushing yards and a touchdown. Not bad for a rookie.
He brought a different energy to their offense, for sure.
Now, on the Cowboys side, Dak Prescott put up a good fight. 243 passing yards and 2 touchdowns.
He did. But those 2 interceptions earlier in the game really hurt.
Yeah, turnovers are killers. But CeeDee Lamb was a bright spot for the Cowboys. 13 catches for 146 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was Prescott's go-to guy all game long.
Absolutely. Lamb was a force out there, even in a losing effort. So we saw some big-time performances on both sides. But to really understand what this game means, I think we need to go a little deeper than just the box score.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You need to look at the bigger picture. What does this win mean for the 49ers, and what does this loss mean for the Cowboys?
For the 49ers, this win was huge. I mean, especially coming off that tough loss to the Chiefs.
Yeah, that Super Bowl rematch had to sting a little.
Definitely. So to bounce back like that against a team like the Cowboys That says a lot about their resilience.
It shows they can handle adversity, they can take a punch and keep coming.
And adapt, too, right? They made some key adjustments in that third quarter that really turned the game around.
What kind of adjustment?
Well, for one, they found ways to get Isaac Guerendo more involved in the run game.
Makes sense. Take some pressure off Purdy.
Exactly. And it opened things up in the passing game, too. Purdy had more time to find his receivers.
So it was a real team effort.
Yeah.
The coaches making the right calls, the players executing.
It all came together. That kind of adaptability is huge. It means they can win in different ways.
They can grind it out defensively or light it up offensively, whatever it takes.
Exactly. That's a dangerous combination.
Now, on the Cowboys side, this loss definitely exposed some areas they need to work on.
Especially on defense.
Yeah, that third quarter got away from them. They couldn't contain Purdy's mobility, and their secondary had no answer for Kittle.
And those early interceptions from Prescott didn't help.
No, those were costly. So for the Cowboys, it's about shoring up that defense and maybe finding ways to protect Prescott a little better.
I mean, they did show some fight in the fourth quarter.
Oh, yeah. They could definitely score points. No question about that.
Prescott and Lamb are a dangerous duo, for sure.
Yeah.
But they need to find a way to put it all together for 4 quarters.
That consistency is going to be key for them.
Absolutely. If they can figure that out, they'll be a tough out for anyone.
Okay, so we've got the 49ers looking resilient and adaptable, and the Cowboys showing flashes of brilliance, but struggling with consistency.
Right. Still early in the season, but this game definitely raised some interesting questions about both teams.
It did. It makes you wonder, which of these teams is really better positioned for a deep playoff run?
It's tough to say at this point. Both teams have the potential, but they also have some clear weaknesses.
It's going to be fascinating to see how it all plays out.
For sure. We'll have to keep a close eye on both these teams as the season goes on. This matchup gave us a lot to think about.
All right, so we've talked about the key moments, the big players. Now, the big question on everybody's mind, which of these teams has the best shot at making a deep playoff run?
Well, for the 49ers, it really comes down to that adaptability we saw. You know, that ability to adjust and make plays in different ways.
Right. They're not just a one-dimensional team.
Exactly. And Purdy's development is huge, too. He's looking more and more comfortable every week.
He's really stepped into that leadership role.
He has. And you can't forget about that defense either. They're playing with a lot of confidence right now.
So a lot to like about the 49ers. But every team has weaknesses. What do they need to work on to really reach their full potential?
I think consistency is key. They need to string together complete performances week after week. They can't just rely on those big plays and those explosive moments.
Right. They need to be able to win those tough, grinded-out games, too.
Exactly. Especially against the top teams in the NFC.
Okay, now let's talk about the Cowboys. What are their biggest strengths as they look ahead to the rest of the season?
Well, their offensive firepower is obvious. Prescott, when he's on, is one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
And he's got some serious weapons around him.
Oh, yeah. Lamb Elliott, they can put up points in a hurry.
But that defense is a bit of a concern, right?
It is. They need to find a way to generate more pressure on opposing quarterbacks.
And limit those big plays in the secondary.
Exactly. If they can tighten things up defensively, they'll be a much tougher team to beat.
So it sounds like the Cowboys need their defense to catch up to their offense.
That's the key for them. If they can do that, they'll be a real contender.
So we've got two teams with a lot of potential, but also some question marks.
It's going to be interesting to see how it all shakes out.
It is. This matchup gave us a lot to think about. Yeah. And it'll be fun to watch these two teams down the stretch.
Absolutely. Both the 49ers and the Cowboys have what it takes to make a run. But they'll need to clean some things up to get there.
That's what makes the NFL so great. Every week is a new challenge. And we can't wait to see what happens next.
Thanks for having me. It's always a blast to break down these games with you.
Absolutely. And to our listeners, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.
Today is your lucky day. Today is the day that our $3 website works for you, paying you directly to your PayPal daily. Imagine $3 ongoing continuous payments to your PayPal account. Imagine falling asleep and waking up to $300 in your PayPal account. How would this make you feel? How could this help you? What bills could you pay? What kind of fun could you have? What does that retirement look like now? All for a one-time payment of $3. This website is DFY done for you, fully built and completely hosted, and never stops collecting payments for you. You have spent $3 on coffee on a regular, but that coffee won't help you create multiple streams of income. Click the link below.